welcome back. In today's class, I am going to talk about the one of the most important concept of the modern control theory or engineering, and that is the concept of state. And using some kind of physical example, we are trying to understand the concept of state. And after that, I will talk about the abstraction. It means that even if I will not knowing some physical system, in that situation, also how to talk about the meaning of a state or concept of a state. So that is the basic aim of today's lecture, and this is one of the foundation class for all the future lectures, because all future lectures of modern control theory is based on this concept. So let us start the lecture. So basically, most of time I have some physical system, and after that we have to perform some kind of analysis or some kind of synthesis such that I will get some desired behavior. And in previous class we have seen that how to represent the system, how to do modeling. So now here two things is very clear, that I have physical object, and using some well defined mathematics I am trying to capture that physical object. So, and I hope that you all are able to understand the difference between these two, that is called physical object, and another thing I have written here, that is abstract object. So physical object is somehow we are that is given to us, and somehow I am able to sense that object, and I wish to describe the time behavior of that object, that physical object. And my goal is quite clear. I want to perform some kind of action using that object, or I want to analyze that object. Now, using our well defined mathematics, what we are going to do, again we are going to capture the same physical object, and that is nothing but the abstract object. So basically, physical object is fixed, but I have infinite many way to capture that physical object by using some kind of standard abstraction. And obviously there always exist lot of limitations in this form, that I have physical object, but sometimes I have not well defined mathematics to capture that object. Sometimes I have some mathematical equation, and corresponding to that mathematical equation it is not possible to realize some kind of physical object. So we have difficulty in both direction. So we will talk about this difficulty, and at least using some example we are going to see this. So now let us try to define the abstract object, and I hope that you are able to understand the meaning of abstract object. So abstraction of physical object. So somehow now what I am telling, that okay, I have several different physical systems. Suppose that I have electrical system, mechanical system, electronic system, or chemical system. Using some kind of well defined mathematics, I am going to capture that class of system, and that is nothing but the abstraction. And during this abstraction we are going to give guarantee that whatever relation of input and output relation of the physical system, that is same for the abstract system. And most of time that is not perfectly, it is very difficult to match perfectly, but we are telling that okay, in some tolerance limit, whatever input output relation for physical system and abstract system, that is same. So using some kind of expression, we are going to model the input output behavior of the original physical system. And if you see some system, then I have input data, I have output data, and inside that something is going to happen. And in abstraction, we are telling that inside thing is somehow black box. So first we are trying to substitute some kind of physical object there, and after that we are going to remove that physical object and I am going to generalize that. That is the meaning of abstraction. So let us try to see the meaning of this remark. So basically the concept of state, whatever I am going to define the state, relate to those objects whose behavior can changes with the time. So somehow whenever we are talking about the state, at that time we are going to talk those class of physical object which behavior is changing with respect to time. And it means that somehow we are applying some kind of stimulus to the system, and after that we are measuring the response. So somehow stimulus as well as response both are changing with respect to the time. And if we are able to give this kind of guarantee, then concept of a state comes into picture. So in order to understand the concept of a state, I am going to give you one of the simple block diagram. So basically what happens, that I have certain kind of physical object here. You can see that physical object is located here. And if you remember my first class, at that time I was talking about the system. So and during the definition of system, what I have told that whenever I have some physical system, I will make some kind of measurement. So making measurement means somehow I am giving certain class of input or stimuli to that system. And after that, we are observing the response or output of that system. And in order to establish relation between input and output, we are performing the series of experiment. And using that series of experiment, we are trying to draw some kind of conclusion between output and input. So we have experiment and we are relating input and output pairs. And after that, once we will formulate some kind of well-defined mathematics, then we are telling that even if I haven't done that kind of experiment, but at least I can give guarantee that this is the output for that particular input. So due to that reason, first stage is somehow related to training, means we are giving input, we are getting output, we are making some kind of mathematical abstraction, we are matching that whatever mathematical input output or mathematical abstraction and physical system is matching or not. And once that will match, then we are telling that this particular physical system under this kind of experimental condition, if I apply this class of input, then I will get this particular or this unique output. So main goal here again to predict the future behavior, and I have already told you that that is the main goal of the system engineering, that I have some well defined system or I have to construct some system, and main aim to predict the future, because I cannot change the past and future action is so fast, present action is so fast, it is very difficult to predict the current situation. In order to predict the current situation, our actions should be very fast. So due to that reason, we are most of time we are just concentrated on the future behavior of the system. Now let us come to the one particular definition. So from the above discussion, what we found that the state of a physical object, so here again I am talking about physical object, I am not talking about the abstract object, is any property of the object. So somehow a state is related to the property of some particular object, and we are telling that this state is relating between input and output such that the knowledge of the input time function, so if I know the input for t greater than equal to t0 and the state at some particular time t equal to t0, then I can completely determine a unique output. So what we are telling that now somehow I have to predict the future. It means that I have to predict the unique future output. So a state is somehow summarizing the behavior at t equal to t0. You can see that here time is specified t equal to t0, and this is nothing but the time of experiment or when I have started the experiment. So a state is somehow summarizing the all past behavior, and that is reflected at t equal to t0, and with the input and using that behavior t equal to t0 or property, I can uniquely determine the output. Now let us come to the one example. So since I am defining the physical system, and due to that reason I am going to take one physical example. So here you can see that I have this, in this example I am going to do one very small experiment. So I have three different resistor, and that is connected like this, and here this is my switch. So this is my switch. So what we are telling that this switch can change position from this position A to position B. Now if this switch at this position, then you can see that, and suppose that I have applied some kind of input, constant input you can assume, that is voltage V. So and after that I am observing output here, and this represent the ground. So somehow I am observing output, so I have connected my some kind of measuring instrument. I have connected here between these two terminal. I have connected some kind of measuring instrument, and here I am going to apply some kind of input. So somehow you can see that in this side I am going to apply the input. So again this is grounded, so in this side, so I am not going to draw that. So if I apply V, so it is possible to show that output I am getting V by 2. So if my switch at position A, then I will get the specific output V by 2. Now suppose that if this switch will change from A to B, then what happens that if this switch will change from A to B, at that time input voltage remains the V, but output is now change, and that is V by 4. So here you can see that in this physical example, a state is nothing but switch. If this switch will not present, then I cannot define here some kind of dynamical system, because I have told you that whenever we are defining a state, at that time somehow we have to allow something which is changing, or some kind of and later we can see that we are talking about some kind of a state is nothing but some kind of things which carry the information of past also. So for a static system we are not defining the concept of a state. A static system means, suppose that if I have a resistor and if I apply some kind of voltage, so whatever voltage I am applying, same kind of means at the same time we are getting the behavior. So that behavior is not function of either the past or the future, that is just function of the present. But here whatever behavior I am locating, so that will also depend on the past. So you can see that means suppose that if I close this switch t equal to t0 at position A, so and I want to see the response output at t equal to t1, then first I have to see that switch at position A or B. So somehow switch is nothing but depending on our past experimental condition, and that is the state for this particular system, and this pair V is called input output pair. So most of time I have to somehow draw some relation between input output pair, and this pair is also called ordered pair, because if you change the order then things become wrong. So I have input output pair, and inside some kind of things is going to happen. So and using that physical quantity with input, I can uniquely develop the value of output. And here you can see that if you switch the switch from A to B, then your output is unique, that is V2, V by 2 and V by 4. Now, and this system is dynamical because switching action is allowed here. So now let us try to abstract same kind of condition. So in previous example, what we have done, I have well defined object inside some box, and after that I have input and output pair. Now what I am telling that I do not know what is inside the box. So somehow that is I have something called black box. So basically exactly I am not knowing the what kind of things is inside the box, but I have certain kind of information, or I am going to find certain kind of information such that if I apply the input, then I will get the unique output. So now somehow I am abstracting again, and somehow that is the abstraction of that physical system. So due to that reason, an abstract object, so whenever we are talking about any object, we have already seen that goal is very much limited. I have to perform some experiment, and after that we have to talk about the output of the system. So whenever we are talking about some abstract object, at that time my abstract object, in this definition you can see that an abstract object is the totality of input output pair that describe the behavior of the physical object. So somehow using some kind of abstraction, I am going to capture the whole behavior of the physical system, and behavior of physical system means input output behavior. Now let us come to the this remark. So somehow what we have found here, that input output behavior of the system, that the abstract object is usually characterized as a class of all time function that obey a set of mathematical equation. So and that is nothing but the modeling. So we are telling that abstract object is nothing but mathematical modeling of the physical object. And now in same like physical object, here I can define the state of the abstract object. So let us come here that basically how to define the state of the physical object. So in order to define the state of the physical object, what I am telling that the state of abstract object. So same here I am just going to replace physical object by abstract object is collection of the numbers, and I will tell you that why I am telling numbers here, together with the input ut for all time t greater than equal to t0 uniquely determine the output. So this is the definition, and here in each and every definition you can see that always I am giving emphasis that output should be unique. It means that whatever machine I am going to develop, that is nothing but some class of function. So you can also interpret function as a some kind of machine. Now in this way I will understood the definition of the state. Now let us come to the next question, and question is like this: the state is the answer to the following question. So what we are telling that given ut means input is given for me for all t greater than equal to t0, and I have certain kind of mathematical relationship, because we are telling that I have abstract object means nothing but some kind of mathematical model. So now what I am telling that what kind of additional information. So now I am going to talk about the some kind of additional information, and using that additional information I am going to completely specify the output of the system. So information and completely specify the output of the system. So and that information is nothing but the information of the state. So it means that if I know the input, if I know the state, then uniquely I am able to specify the output of the system. Now let us come to the one very simple example, and since this is course of electrical engineering, and after that we are means most of the student is here that has background from the electrical and electronics engineering. Due to that reason, most of time I am going to take some first example from the electrical engineering, and after that I will take example from mechanical or electromechanical systems or other classes of system. So here I have taken very simple example of resistor capacitor network, and here I have applied some kind of input voltage, and whatever yt is the output voltage. So what I am telling that I am going to see, or I am going to understand the concept of a state using this particular example. So during definition I have already told you that I have information of the input, and after that one more thing is required, that is the abstraction. So and abstraction is nothing but the mathematical model. So if you apply just, you can apply KVL or KCL and Ohm's law, then it is possible to generate this equation. And so due to that reason I am not going to discuss about how basically this particular equation comes into picture, or you can also see here that C dy by dt is current flowing through this capacitor, and that is equal to the whatever current that is actually flowing through this resistor. And how to calculate current? Here I have voltage ut, in this side I have voltage yt, so ut minus yt by r, and if you just rearrange the term, then you will get this kind of model. In order to understand the concept of a state, now you have to solve this equation, and again you have to believe on me. So I am not going to solve equation here, I am going to write directly, and obviously in the next part of this course I am going to talk about the solution also. So here this is the solution. So in this solution yt is our output, and here you can see that if I know this number yt0, because all other things are known to me, I know what class of input I am going to apply. I know the time of experiment, I know the value of resistance, I know the capacitance. Now if I know this number, just this number, then I can able to predict the all future value. So this particular number is nothing but the state of that particular system, or a state of the resistor capacitor network. And somehow you can see that this number is very unique. I will talk about this number again in the later part of today's lecture only. So this is the first observation. Now let us come to the another quantity, that is called state variable. So a state variable denoted by the vector xt is the time function whose value at any specified time is the state of the abstract object at that time. So it means that, suppose that you can take example of very simple system, and I have you may have seen that this kind of system I have used several times. So here I have some mechanical system, and I am going to apply some kind of input ut here. So using Newton's law, I can model this system like this: d2xt by dt square. Here xt is position, and I am assuming all kind of assumption. I am not going to discuss assumption again. So here you can see that this particular system, this is second order differential equation, and from theory of differential equation we are also knowing that in order to solve this equation I need at least two information of xt and x dot t. So basically what I am telling that this system you can assume x equal to x1 and x dot equal to x2. So this system can be written like x1 dot equal to x2 and x2 dot equal to 1 by m into ut. So in this way I can represent this mechanical system. So here, in order to solve this particular equation, and suppose I have to predict the future means I want to know the output. So I can also denote this particular quantity like this x, and where x is nothing but x1 and x2 and transpose of this. And if you multiply this, then you can see that output is just position. So suppose if I have to know position, then I have to know the initial value of x10 and x20, and since I have second order differential equation, so using that I can predict the all future value. So this particular quantity x1 and x2, since x1 is changing with respect to time and x2 is also changing with respect to time, so that is called state variable. And at particular time, suppose you are at t equal to t0, whatever value, that is called state. So in this way we are little bit differentiating between state and state variable. Now let us come to the another more important quantity you have to understand, that is trajectory in the state space. So in order to discuss little more, again I am going to take very simple example, and here I am assuming that I have capacitor and I am going to apply some kind of current here, and I am denoting that current, input current, as a ut. So you can see that q equal to cv, and here voltage difference is I am denoting like yt. So I have c dv dy t by dt, this is current, so that is equal to whatever input current. In this way I have modeled this. Now if you try to see the behavior of current or behavior of this voltage across this particular capacitor, then you have to somehow see the solution of this particular equation. So let us try to see the solution. So I am going to use the variable separation method, and here one more important quantity, you can see that again assumption comes into picture. What we are assuming that t equal to minus infinity, because I do not know what is charge across this capacitor. So due to that reason, I am assuming that when t equal to minus infinity, at that time I have zero voltage. So I do not know the voltage or charge across this capacitor. So I have done that kind of assumption. And at t equal to t, I have voltage equal to yt. And after that, you can see that in order to know the concept of state, I am going to rewrite the above equation like this. And why I have break this integral into two parts, because we know that my time of experiment is t0. So I have started this experiment at t0. So I can break this integral into two parts. One part is like this and another part is like this. So you can see that second part is completely known to me now, because I know that t equal to t0. So this is somehow definite integral and this is improper integral, because I do not know what is meaning of minus infinity here. And here, suppose somehow I measure this particular quantity, and if you see this particular quantity, so that is nothing but certain kind of voltage, and I am assuming that this is yt0. So if I know the yt0, so now I can able to predict the future uniquely. Similarly, suppose your friend come to the lab and they start experiment at t1 time, then I have to split this particular integral like this, and again now here whatever value yt0 you are getting, he is going to get some other value, that is yt1, and after that he is again able to predict the future uniquely. So basically I mean to say that if I know the input between all t greater than equal to t0, and if I know this quantity, and this quantity you can see that at t equal to t0, that is going to generate some kind of number, but this carry the information of all past value from minus infinity to t0. So physically this is the state of this system. And now what we have observed, that state is totally depending on the state at some time, that is totally depending on our experimental condition. So if you start your experiment at t0, then you have yt0. He has started experiment at t1, so that is yt1, but this is also going to alter. So this is nothing but t1 to t. So they have to know ut now from t1 to t. There is no need to know what is input between t0 to t1. So basically this right hand integral is also updated. So somehow if we see the state variable, that is xt, is that is not only the explicit function of time, so it is looking that it is explicit function of t, but somehow that is also implicitly depending on the starting time, because we are doing integral from minus infinity to t0, and somehow this condition also, suppose that now we are changing the time of experiment, so t1, so somehow t0 is involved in that process, and the input u tau. So what we are telling, that since somehow you can see that left hand side yt and yt is here, so somehow there exists some kind of relation here, because suppose t equal to 5 second, I want to predict the state, he is also going to predict the t equal to 5 second, and I have same physical system, so value remains the same. So somehow these two terms update themselves such that at t equal to 5 second, these two value is going to match, and due to that reason we are telling that there exists some relation between yt0 and yt1. And if you see the relation between these two, so that will depend on u tau, t0, and also xt0 or yt0 you can tell. And due to that reason, since here in place of yt0 I have written xt0, because for in order to denote the state variable I am using this kind of things. And in this particular example, yt equal to xt, so I have single order system, so I am assuming this. So now let us try to see the definition of this quantity, that is called trajectory. So this functional dependency, so xt we are telling that implicitly that will not only depend on t, but that is going to depend on t0, x0 and u tau. Now let us again come to the next discussion, and next part of discussion here what I am telling that now I am going to come on the particularly the next question and try to see the next question. So we are telling that suppose we have given a set of mathematical relationship, and do we have an abstract object? It means that all mathematical expression corresponding to some physical system or not. And I have given one very simple example here, that is suppose output yt is related to input like this. Here j is some kind of complex number. So here at least either input is imaginary or output is imaginary. Due to that reason, this will not represent any abstract object or any kind of physical system that is not represented by this particular expression. So due to that reason, we have to become little more careful whenever we are defining the abstract object. And due to that reason, next definition comes into picture, that is called definition of the dynamical system. So now what we are telling that whenever we are defining dynamical system, at that time we are going to become very specific. So a dynamical system is a mathematical relationship in which real output, you can see that, and why we are on the means restricting ourselves on the real output, that is because most of time what we are telling that whatever measuring instrument or measurement we have developed, most of measuring instrument is going to read the real data. So based on similar kind of things we are going to develop the definition. Definition is somehow means that is given by us, so I can define any relevant quantity. So what we are telling that for a dynamical system means something is dynamical system if a real output y2 exists for all t greater than or equal to t0 given a real input, then only that will satisfy the property of dynamical system. And second important condition and is that output y2 yt do not depend on the future value of the input. So suppose that I have some physical system, or then this condition is also equally important. We are assuming that whatever my future value of input, that is not going to affect the present value of the output. So if some system or some mathematical expression will satisfy this kind of these two conditions, then we are telling that that abstract mathematical relation will represent some kind of dynamical system. Now let us come to the next question. So now I have some dynamical system. So we know that this ut is somehow belongs to some kind of real number. It might possible m number of real number I have. It means that I have u1t, u2t and umt like this. And so I have somehow vector of real numbers, and similarly I have here that belongs to some rp. So again I have p vector, and each entry of vector is some kind of real number. And now using input and output, now our aim, we would like to construct a set of mathematical relation defining a state xt. So So now I am going to define, means I have restriction, that means yt and ut both are real. Second restriction is that future value of ut is not going to appear on the present value of yt. Now I have to construct proper mathematical model here, and also I have to define the state. So due to that reason, I have to check certain kind of condition, and so in order to define the state, and at least I have to check 5 conditions. So I am going to specify the condition one by one. So first condition is a real unique output, because uniqueness is always important, I have already told you. And yt is function, and this is nothing but, you can see that if this whole quantity, that is state x1 at t equal to 0, or x you can write t0. So if I have to define yt, so if there exists some kind of functional relation, if I know ut, and for all t greater than equal to t0, if I know xt0 at t equal to t0, then I am uniquely able to predict this. So somehow this condition, whatever condition we are talking here, using first, we are maintaining the unique real output for all output may be some kind of vector also for all t greater than equal to t0. So that is the first condition, and this is the trajectory of the state trajectory, you can tell, and output is always depending on the state trajectory. Now second condition, that is actually, again we are assuming that always unique trajectory. So it means that if I fix the x0, u tau and t0, then whatever functional relation, that should be unique. And because somehow output is depending on this particular functional relationship, so if I know the state trajectory, with help of that state trajectory, I can able to define the unique output of the system by knowing the real output input of the system. And third condition, if you see the third condition, so third condition is somehow, I have already explained to you, that suppose that you have some system, and that is somehow time invariant system, that is not depending on time, and you come to your lab and you have start your experiment. So you can at that time state map at t0 is xt0, but if your friend start experiment, that is yt1, because he arrived at lab at t1 too. So that condition is somehow verified by this relation. Mathematically I have just written this, and after that, again that means a trajectory should satisfy the transition property. So what is meaning of transition property? What we are telling that in transition property, I will explain you like in this way. Suppose I have some input here, I know the ut and I know the x0, and after that I am going to define the yt. Now suppose that I know the x0, so from x0 I can also define one intermediate quantity x1, and after, by knowing x1 at t1, I can again uniquely able to predict the yt. So this property is called transition property, and obviously this I have already told you that our trajectory means state also should not depend on the future value of the input. So with these 5 guidelines, basically we are formulating some system. And why you have to know all abstraction, because here you can see that I have again given one very relevant example, and here in this example you can see that what I am telling, that I have some dynamical system. So here I am assuming that yt belongs to some kind of real line, and after that whatever ut that is going to generate, that is again belongs to some real line. So this is my dynamical system where input is real and output is real. And second assumption, I am assuming that y means yt is not going to depend on the future value of ut. So that is very much clear from this expression. So this is dynamical system. But state representation, you can also write like this. And here you can see that in this particular place ut is always real, so xt is always complex in this particular expression. So it might possible our state may be imaginary, but input and output should be real. And using this kind of relation, it is possible to again you can generate this expression. Just you can do dy by dt. So here j dx by dt and dx by dt I have defined as a jut. So finally we are land up to this expression. Due to that reason, means you should also understand the all property, and it is possible to show that if you just solve this equation, they will satisfy all fab property whatever I have told. So whatever fab property, that is the abstraction. And if you see the formal mathematics, so they are also developed like this. Means we have certain kind of axioms means we are assuming something, after that we are giving some kind of definition, and based on that definition we are characterizing the element. Now let us come to the final example, one more final example. And using that example, I will tell you what is state involved in this particular system. So I have taken one pendulum system, and you all are well aware how to model it. So I am assuming that this pendulum is actually doing oscillation in the open air. So friction force is also acting, and Ft is the external force. So here F equal to ma. I have used the Newton's law. So I have to know distance from here to here, that is L and theta. So S dot is L theta dot, and S double dot, that is just like acceleration, is L theta dot. So F is m L theta double dot, and all forces I have written here. So this is due to gravity and this is due to friction. And after that I am defining this kind of things, x1 and x2. So again here you can see that using this expression x1, again I have set of first order of differential equation, and this x1 and x2, if you are going to solve, suppose that if you have to know the position of this system, so suppose that y equal to theta, so somehow you have to see the evolution of x1. So you have to solve this, and again in order to solve this you need the information of x1 at the time of experiment, x2 at the time of experiment. So these two are the state variable. So let us now come to the conclusion. So what we have seen, that I have physical object and I am going to capture that physical object with certain kind of abstraction. Now whenever we are going to do abstraction, at that time we have to very much careful, and we have to become careful because all mathematical expression, we have already given one counter example that not represent the physical system, and due to that reason we have to define dynamical system. So with dynamical system, and I am, why we are defining dynamical system, because I have to make some kind of unique relationship between ut, means giving ut I have to predict unique value of output, and some intermediate quantity will involve in this process. And so due to that reason, means concept of state comes into picture. So with knowledge of dynamical system and state, I am going to define some relevant quantity, and that is nothing but the system. So now whenever I will talk system, it means that I have dynamical system which will satisfy these two property, means input output is real, and second condition is causality condition. Causal means output of present output is not going to depend on the future value of the input. So these two condition, and after that using whatever five mathematical condition I have written, one can derive the notion of state. So with this remark I am going to close the today lecture. Thank you very much.